I have three of the most popular tank bags sitting here before me: the Giant Loop Fandango, the Rigg Hurricane, and the Tusk Olympus. Now I'm going to do a comparison of all three of these bags, so if you're in the market, it'll help you make a decision on which one is right for you. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. So I have three of what I consider to be the most popular tank bags here: the Giant Loop Fandango, the Rigg Hurricane in the 8-liter size, and the Tusk Olympus in the 7-liter size. Now I came up with 7 criteria of how to rate these. The video would be over 40 minutes long if I went through every exact detail. So I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to give you the highlights of each of these bags, and through my rating system, which one I think is the best and which one I would avoid, especially given the cost. So in order not to belabor the point, I'm going to jump into this so that you are not clicking off and you stick around. So let's get into it. So real quickly, from an experience standpoint, I've got tens of thousands of miles on the Tusk bag. I've got thousands of miles on the Giant Loop Fandango bag, and I have nearly 1,000 miles, multiple hundreds of miles on the Rigg bag. But because I've done the moto camping and travel with each of these bags, and I know on multiple day trips how they function, I've got a pretty good feel for each of these. So let's just get into it and talk about each of these bags. So Giant Loop Fandango, highlights of this bag. I really like this crotch pocket because it gives me the ability to throw earplugs in here. And this is something that I look for in a bag, and I really, really like it. Waterproofing is very good on this bag. So with the waterproofing, and then also the space that you have in here, it's a pretty big open compartment. And then you have the ability to put some stuff in the top of it as well. Now, from a waterproofing standpoint, it does keep water out, but in heavy rains, especially on the East Coast where your humidity is 100%, things in here get a little bit damp. But every tank bag I've ever used, under heavy rains, you're always going to have some of that humidity buildup that you will see in this top pouch. Now, the lowlights of this, I hate trying to get power into this bag. It has this little hole here, and it is a pain in the butt. Maybe a USB cord might go in there, but my bikes take these 12-volt plugs. I'm not going to cut this, splice it, and try to get it through here. So what I end up doing is where the zipper comes together on the side, I zip it together, and then this cable is hanging out. The problem with that is it gives a point of entry for water if it is raining. So in order to have power in here, I'm giving up a little bit of that waterproofing. Now, the other thing that I think is a low light, and I know some people like it, I don't, is this zipper harness. So I'm going to shift over to the bike and go through that real quick. I'm actually out here on the bike for this particular mounting system, just so that it makes sense if you're not familiar with it. It has this harness that stays on all of the time, and then you just use this zipper to put the harness on and off. Now on this bike, it hasn't really been a problem. A couple of the issues that I've had on other bikes is if your gas cap area is larger than this slot, you have to move this harness back and forth in order to get the gas cap up, which was a problem on my KTM 390 Adventure. I got really frustrated trying to get the gas cap up and down all the time because it wasn't removable, it just flips up. The other thing that had been an issue on other bikes that I've had this on is here where this doesn't quite come down to the seat, but on other bikes, depending on how high your seat comes up, this harness goes over the seat. So I have really long straps. I'm having to unstrap things, a huge amount in order to get the seat off, which made it really challenging with this type of mounting system. So depending on how high your seat comes up, that's something you're going to want to think about is this going to cover your seat? And if you have to get to your battery or anything underneath the seat, how challenging is it going to be to loosen this up every single time? So this is the mounting system for the Giant Loop bag. All right, and really the final low light of this bag, if you pay regular price for this, it's about $240. Thankfully, I was able to get this bag at a 50% discount 2 or 3 Christmases ago. over New Year's, Giant Loop put these on sale. So I picked one up for about $120, which to me, I'm not spending more than that. And it gave me an opportunity to see what it was like. So, man, this is a really expensive bag. And out of my criteria of a possible 35 points total, it only got 17. So you saw the harness, my dislike of it. So not my favorite bag. All right, so let's move on. All right, let's talk about the Tusk Olympus bag. It's a 7-liter bag. And one of the things I like is the crotch pocket, again, for earplugs. It just makes it convenient when I come to a stop. Maybe I'm grabbing lunch, I can pop my earplugs in here. It's just a really quick place to grab them, or maybe keys for something if I just need to stuff it in there real quick. Now, with this particular bag, it has this pouch up front in the lid. And so what I do with this is I put stuff I'm not gonna need to get to all of the time. I have a headlamp, so at the end of the day, I can use that. Sunscreen, if I remember it, it's up here, I'll see it to try to hopefully remember to put it on. Extra earplugs, a little power bank. Now the nice thing about the lid is there is a way to get power up in here. So I'll recharge my headlamp and just miscellaneous things up in this top lid. The other thing I like is this, the cording on here makes it really nice. If you have a gas tank that the lid comes off, like the Touareg or the Tenere, I can tuck it up under here and just let it sit. So I'm not trying to find a place to put it, and I don't have to worry about the gas cap falling onto the ground or anything like that. And it has the clips, which I really, really like, so that I can just push this to the side. In order to get gas, it makes it very convenient. Getting power into this is very easy. It has this hole here that is big enough to fit a power plug. I used to have a power plug in this, but on the Touareg, it uses a USB. And then I also put an SAE plug up in here for charging purposes to keep my phone and my camera charged up during the day. Now, the downside, and the biggest downside of this bag, is it is not waterproof the way it is. In order for this to be waterproof, you have to put this cover on it. I hate putting a cover on anything to make it waterproof because I'm lazy, and usually by the time I need to do this, I'm already riding in heavy rain, and the last thing I want to do is pull over in heavy rain to put a cover on. And depending on the conditions, it may not be safe to pull over on the side of the road because I don't know if the cars can see, if they're going to know that I've pulled over or they're thinking I'm part of traffic. So I really don't like this. So what ends up happening is my contents end up getting wet. Now, not soaking, wringing out wet, there's not standing water in it, but it is damp, much damper than these other two bags. And I can tell that because I keep business cards in here and some stickers. And after heavy rain events, I can see that the business cards are wet. But overall, the functionality has been really, really good. I like this bag, and I think the price point, depending on where you see it, you can get it anywhere from $100 to $120, maybe even some discounts, either on Amazon or you can find it on Rocky Mountain ATV and MC. So I do like this bag, and I have a lot of experience with it. But the waterproofing is an issue, and especially if you live in really wet conditions where you suffer a lot of rainy riding, this might not be the bag for you. All right, and that brings me to the last bag, the Nelson Rigg Hurricane in the 8-liter size. When they released this bag, I was really excited because this is the tank bag size that I like. I don't like anything bigger than around the 7-8 liters, and I don't like anything smaller than that because of carrying my phone in here, carrying a camera, carrying maybe a change of gloves, just miscellaneous camping stuff, and having charging in the bag. Now, the highlights of this bag is the waterproofing is the best that you're going to find on any of these bags, and that's for a couple of reasons. There are no penetrations on this bag anywhere in order to run power into the bag, which is kind of disappointing for me because I like to have power, but that maintains its waterproofing without question. Now, the other thing that's really fantastic about this bag is the zipper is a waterproof zipper, and on top of that, it has this neoprene lip that goes over the zipper, so you have extra layers of waterproofing. Now, what that does for me is because I have to run my power through the corner where the zippers come together, it allows me to pull this lip over the cord where it comes out, hopefully adding a little bit more waterproofing, and not where that zipper has a little bit of a hole in it. It's a little bit harder for rain to get in, unlike in the Giant Loop. So when I have ridden in heavy rains, everything in here has stayed completely dry.
Boy, this sure is a lot of fun. Love riding in the rain and the dirt.
It's maybe been a little damp just from the humidity, just as things do when you're out in the rain, but overall it's been great. The pockets in here, there's plenty of space. It is very, very deep because everything is down below. So the only thing I find is when I bury stuff in there, I may have to dig a little bit, like if I want to get to my multi-tool, it's on the very bottom. I think the biggest thing that is a benefit to this bag is the value. There is so much value in this. And if you follow Kyle Bradshaw at Mini Bikes, whether it be on his Instagram page or on his YouTube page, he's always offering discounts on Nelson Rigg gear. And I've seen 20, 25% discounts at different times of year. So if you want to get a really quality tank bag and not spend a fortune, follow him and you cannot go wrong with this bag. Now, the only downsides that I have been able to come up with is it doesn't have the crotch pocket that I like on the other one. So it's not as convenient when I have earplugs. I've got to try to put them somewhere in the tank bag where I don't lose them or have them get buried underneath there. And the other thing that has been a problem for me with this bag is I want to use this bag on my Touareg, but my Touareg, the tank drops down pretty steeply, and this bag is not very flexible and doesn't want to mold around it, which is why I still use the Tusk on the Touareg, which is my primary bike. So if this was a little bit more flexible and I could bend it around, this would be my primary tank bag. So depending on how your tank is built and how it slopes down, this may be a great choice. Or if it's a super steep one, you may have to just deal with it kind of sitting funny or kind of try to bend it around it, whichever you want to do. But I do think as far as from these three bags, if I could only buy one and make it work, it would be the Nelson Rigg. Now, I just want to mention real quick, I'm not sponsored to do this video. I have paid for each of these bags with my own money, and it's just based on my experience in the riding that I have done. If you have any questions about these bags, leave that in the comments below. If you have used either or any of these bags, leave your experience in the comments below so others can take a look. And I want to mention one thing that some of you may or may not have noticed is I have a carabiner on this bag right here. And I also have a carabiner down here on this bag. And what I use this for is hanging my helmet when I'm not using it, when I'm maybe running into a gas station when I take my helmet off. Sometimes for lunch, if I'm not worried about it, my helmet disappearing, is I just clip the D-rings on these carabiners right off the side of the helmet. I find this to be extremely convenient, and I do it on every bag. So yeah, if you're just looking for a tip on how to hang your helmet off the bag. So anyway, hopefully you found this useful, you stayed to the end. Remember, you can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. So get out and do that ride you've been thinking of. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there.
I'm wet. It's only supposed to be a 20% chance of rain today. It's a 100% chance where I'm at.